What's good? What's good? What's good? What's going on, peoples? It's your man, King Nabby the Great. Shout out to all of my great ones worldwide. I'm back now with another classic movie breakdown. This time it is for another Mexican film. This one is entitled Y tu mamá también. It is an all-time classic directed by the great director, the great Mexican director, Alfonso Cuaron. It's written by him and Carlos Cuaron, who I believe is his brother. Please let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. It stars two amazing superstar Mexican actors, Diego Luna and Gael Garcia Bernal, as well as a beautifully talented Spaniard actress, Maribel Verdu. Now, of course, this is a classic movie breakdown, so I'm going to go a little bit in depth about the film. There will be spoilers, just to warn anybody who hasn't seen it. If you haven't seen it, please, you have to see this movie. It's an amazing film. Now, to give you a quick summary of the film, it is about two teenage friends, Tenoch, played by Diego Luna, and Julio, played by Garcia Bernal. They're best friends. They do everything together. They get high together. They run around and play together. They do everything. They do that together. Yeah, they do that together. It's crazy. Now it looks like they've had their last year of high school. They're gonna go off to the university. However, before that, they want to have some fun. Their girlfriends have, they're going on a trip to Europe. So now these two best friends are left in Mexico City, I believe, to run wild and just have the time of their lives. Now they end up going to a wedding of one of Tenoch's family members. There, Tenoch sees one of his cousins, Juno, who he hasn't seen in such a long time, or Jano, who he hasn't seen in such a long time. And he meets his wife, his cousin's wife, Luisa, who is played by Maribel Verdu. He is obviously very attracted to her, trying to woo her, trying to seduce her, see what can happen. These are two very, for lack of better words, very horny young men. Him and Julio, they're always after the ladies, and Luisa is in their sights. Now, due to the fact that her husband has cheated on her and some other things that I'll get into later, she wants to go to the beach. She wants to just get away and just, enjoy life for a second, be free. So at this point, Tenoch invites her to come with them, to come to this exclusive beach called El Boca de Cielo, or Heaven's Mouth, or the Mouth of Heaven, and which is a beach that they made up, supposedly. And she ends up obliging, and she comes with them along on the road trip, and then just all types of craziness ensues. Now, the first point that I'll touch is the sexuality of the film. From the start of the movie, we see Tenoch in a sex scene with his girlfriend. And throughout the movie, this theme of sex is not used in a way that makes it look dirty, and at the same time, it's not necessarily used in a way that makes it look beautiful or shows the loving side of sex. It's given in such a raw, passionate type of view that you understand the immaturity of it, or the immaturity of the characters and their viewpoints on sex, particularly Tenoch and Julio, but then also how they kind of display their passion through, or they convey their passion through their sexual experiences, and they bond through sexual experiences as well. It's not just a intimate, loving moment. It's also can be a funny moment. It also could be something that breaks two people apart. It also could be something that brings people together. When they come together with Luisa and they go throughout the trip, and she's asking them, they obviously are pursuing her, and she knows it. And she's kind of obliging them by talking to them about their sex lives to get to know them better, seeing where their head is at. The bond and camaraderie that is built between the three as they go on their travels to the south of Mexico in an attempt to get to the beach, down there in Oaxaca. It's just beautiful. It's intriguing. It's it just captures your heart and your soul just to see them get to know this woman and to see this woman get to know them as well and how they interact. And we also see how sex can be used as a weapon to hurt another person. When Tenoch happens to be the first one who's able to have sex with Luisa, you can see that Julio is instantly jealous. He's mad about it. He hasn't felt this way since a kid. He hasn't felt this feeling in his stomach. And when they're in the pool, as a way to kind of get Tenoch back or hurt him, he tells Tenoch how he had sex with his girlfriend. And this is used as a weapon to hurt him. And then in turn, on the flip side, we see how Luisa tries to use sex also to bring the brothers back to, or the friends back together as brothers by having sex with Julio so that he won't feel bad. But she doesn't know that the whole time the reason why they're really angry at each other now is because of, you know, him double crossing his friend. Now another point in this film, and I believe, and it's shown to you on screen as throughout the film, as well as done by some ingenious narration, is that everything in the film has a story. Not just the main characters, but also, you know, there was a man who was hit by a bus early in the film. Even his story of how he got to Mexico City from Michoacan and you know, how he, instead of taking the Skyway, he wanted to walk along the street because it saved time, and that's why he ended up getting hit by the bus. To the pigs on the beach that ransacked, you know, their camp on the beach when they were when they finally found the Boca del Cielo. The pigs even had a story to where, okay, you know, they ran away from pasture and then they ended up getting slaughtered, you know, a week later or something like that, except for like 10 of them that survived. Everything throughout the story is, when the story is paused and the narration starts, everyone has a story, and you see everybody's backstory. And in film school, just to give you a quick diversion, in film school they tell you that using a narration is kind of like a shortcut and is frowned upon a little bit. However, the narration that's used in this and that's used in other films add to the film and bring the film to life, really, and add a whole nother element that makes this film great and amazing. And this narration leads me into another point of the story, which is the socioeconomic and political state of Mexico at that time and what the people were going through. We see Julio, he's from more of a working class family. Tenoch is the preppy, he's from more of a rich family. We see those two opposite ends. We see Julio's sister, who's fighting, you know, for freedom. She's doing demonstration, going on strike against, you know, some things that are some societal ills that are going on in Mexico. How the fisherman Chuy, how his life is unsettled, his beautiful life is unsettled by industrialization and the commercialization of the beach area down there in the small towns, you know, on the coast. So, and how that changes his life and causes him to no longer be a fisherman and have to go on and be a janitor. And we also see many checkpoints along the road, which says something. Many police checkpoints, paramilitary checkpoints, where people are getting stopped and pulled over and their cars are being searched. So there's definitely some tension. There's definitely some unrest, you know, especially, you know, down there, well, throughout Mexico, in the city and in the towns. Things are going on that, you know, are causing, you know, disparity or causing friction between people. And, you know, those who are more familiar with that era and who are from Mexico and who lived through it, if you could let me know down in the comments a little bit deeper. I'll do some research, of course, but if you could let me know from a first-hand view exactly what was going on that inspired Alfonso Cuaron to create that layer of the film and show that to us. Now we get to what I feel is the biggest, the largest and greatest point of this movie, which is simply, to put in simple words, live life to the fullest. And it shows how tragic situations or negative situations a lot of times are the motivation or the inspiration or inspire us to go out there and just live. To give you a quick example of this, of why this touched me in my life, is because I had a video about, you know, the day that I almost died, and I had a sinusoidal blood clot that went into my chest and it almost killed me. And after that, it inspired me to just do what I love to do, which is, write films, shoot and talk about movies here with you on YouTube. And that's around the time, a few months after that is when I started this YouTube channel, and now we're here now. So I understand how bad situations can cause inspiration. Now, at first, you feel like it's the bad situation of her husband cheating on Luisa, which causes her to go on this trip with these two young boys. However, when we learn by the end of the film that she actually has cancer, it just brings everything together and makes it, and I'm like, oh, this movie is just super spectacular. I actually ended up, right after I watched it, I ended up going back and watching the first half all over again, just to look at it from a different perspective. Because now we see that Luisa, she finds out that she has cancer and that she's going to die when she went to the doctor's office. And because of this is why she already knew her husband was cheating on her. However, that was kind of just the breaking point that told her, yo, I'm going to die. I can't sit around and just work my regular job that I don't really love, don't really want to do. I really love to travel. I really love to see the water. I have to go out there and live this life because I only have a little bit left. And I'll go out there with these kids and I'll have fun with them and do whatever because I just want to live life to the fullest, live it day by day, and not let life live me, but I want to, take the reins and live life the way that I want to live. And even with the people of Oaxaca, we see they're living very modest lives. They're living with little. They don't have much. Everything that they have, they really have to create on their own. However, they're very free in their life. They're extremely free to pretty much do what they want to do. They don't have the pressures of those living in the cities. America is probably number one. The United States is probably number one in the world for that, to where we see so much. There's so much commercialism that we feel that the only way that we'll be happy is to have the most money, the biggest cars, the nicest houses. When in fact, happiness, true happiness, can only come from freedom, from true freedom inside, from knowing inside that you're doing what you love to do, and that nothing, you don't need anything else outside of you in order to be content and to have true joy in your life. And that's shown beautifully through this film, and it's shown that material things aren't the answer to that happiness, and I agree with that. The film does end on a sadder note. We have I spoke about the sexuality of the film before, and that really comes to a climax, no pun intended, when Luisa and the boys, they get drunk, have a good time. Julio and Tanash, they iron out their differences. They forgive each other for having sex with each other's girlfriend. We find out why the film is called Y Tu Mamá También, because Julio says, I had sex with your mother too. Tanash, Y Tu Mamá También. They laugh about it. It's a funny moment in the movie. They end up going back to the room with Luisa, and there they end up having a threesome. Luisa pleasures both of them, and at the time that they're being pleasured, we have that moment where they kiss each other. And this is kind of exposes the underlying root of maybe their machismo and their bravado when it came to sex, is that maybe this was really to cover the fact that these two guys, who I told you had such a strong bond, really had more than just a brotherly friendship or brotherly love for each other, but they were actually attracted to each other and in love with each other. However, they weren't able to deal with it mentally because of expectations that are put on them that they've been raised with and who they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be macho, so they couldn't deal with it, and it ends up tearing them apart. They both go to the university to study. Tanosh, who wanted to be a writer, he ends up having to study. Sadly ends up becoming an economist or studying economics. Julio ends up studying biology. They end up running into each other in Mexico City on the streets. They go to a cafe, sit down, and have like the most, how do I put this, kind of awkward conversation between two guys who have been longtime friends, who have been through so much together, who had that great bonding experience with Luisa, but now because of a situation in which they may have even had sex with each other, made love to each other, we don't really see. We just know that they kissed, and then they woke up on the bed next to each other, naked. So they couldn't deal with it mentally to a point where they can't even really look each other in the eye anymore. They can't be friends anymore. They go there, they have small talk, you know, Tenoch lets Julio know how Luisa has died. They talk about, you know, their lives briefly, and then they separate, and they never see each other ever again. Their friendship is totally torn. And it's sad because the writing was so beautiful that we grow to love these characters and to love their friendship so much. So to even see them separate, it's almost like you lost a friend. It's almost like that, you know, it almost makes you want to cry at the end. Like that, I wish that some way they could bond and maybe just maybe talk it out, get over that, and then bond. But they both have, you know, their girlfriends that it's not gonna happen. In conclusion, it's a beautiful film, definitely a classic, masterful film. The writing is amazing with the narration intertwined in it. The cinematography is great. The direction, the performances from all of the actors is magnificent, top notch. And one thing that I love, you know that I do, plan on visiting Mexico, in 2018. So to see the whole road trip aspect when they drive down to Oaxaca, I mean, it was just beautiful. To let you know, I was thinking, you know, if I go to, you know, Guadalajara, Mexico City, Michoacan, whatever the case may be, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I could drive a few hours to those places, but if I want to go down to Veracruz and down to Oaxaca, I'm probably gonna fly. That was my initial plan. After watching this movie and seeing the beautiful landscapes, no, I'm driving. If I can, I want to drive the exact route. I want to find Boca del Cielo. Oh, that's what I'm sorry, I don't mean to divert too much. That's what I need to do. I need to find where they filmed, because it was beautiful. It was like a beautiful secluded beach. That's what I need to do. I need to drive that road trip however many hours, 11, 12 hours, I do not care. I'm driving everywhere so that I could see the entire state of Mexico. I could see the beautiful landscape. I could see the people, seeing just the indigenous folks, the teepees, oh my gosh, it was just wonderful. It was beautiful. I'm enamored with this film. I love it. Let me know how you think. Unfortunately, I can't go on for 80 years talking about this film like I want to with a lot of these classic films. I gotta stop sometime. It's your man, King Nabby the Great. Let me know if you've seen this film. If you haven't, you know, please go out and see it. If you've seen this film, what you think about it. Like this video if you like this video. Comment to stay involved. Subscribe if you love movies as much as I do. It's your man, King Nabby the Great. Be great in life, and life will be great to you. Say grandiosa en la vida será grandiosa para ti. Creativity, abundance, and prosperity to all. And I'm out.
Mafioso, mafioso, mafioso.